the three-part breath. If you're learning breathing techniques, it sounds funny, learning breathing techniques when we breathe every day, constantly to keep us alive. But yeah, as we breathe every day, our breathing, for instance, can be up in the ribs or up in the chest only. So that if we're breathing shallow and just in the chest, that causes problems for the lungs, the heart, it causes stress for those areas. Plus, all throughout the rest of the body, we're not getting proper oxygen to those areas, right? So for instance, if we find that in cold or during stress, that our limbs, right, are becoming white, we're losing that circulation, well, that could be a prime indicator of why you're losing circulation. In those moments, go to your breath. What are you doing with your breath? Are you shallow chest breathing, right? Most likely you are. So out of all the breathing techniques, this is like breathing technique 101, like the first you should do. A lot of people jump into all these intense breathing techniques right off the bat, like you'll see Wim Hof breathing. That's awesome. But again, if you're not learning to channel that breath down deep into the lungs, you're just staying shallow, you're just staying up here. So yeah, you think, oh, I'm doing Wim Hof, I'm doing such an amazing job, I'm helping my body, this and that. But you're actually causing stress to your body, right? If you're just up in your chest, that can cause anxiety, that can cause panic. So you're actually creating a stress state for yourself in a normal day-to-day life. And if you're constantly reiterating that pattern of that poor breathing technique, then you're just going to keep reiterating that trauma, that stress. So first things first, we're breathing. Okay, we want to get the sit bones nice and balanced, tall through the spine. So it's called three-part breath for a reason. You're thinking of the areas in your torso as three parts. So you got the lower part, your stomach, around that belly button. Then you got the middle part, which is the diaphragm, the lung area. And then you have the upper part, which is like the top of the sternum, top of the chest. Okay? How it goes is we inhale and we exhale. As we inhale, you visualize the inhale going down to the deepest part of the stomach, to the deepest end of your lungs. So you fill up the belly button area first. You can put your hands here if you want, different things depending on what you need. So you can put your hand here, and then you feel that expansion, right? You can have your hand here, and then you move the expansion up to the lungs. You feel that, and then you move the expansion and the inhalation up to your hand here. So from bottom to top is nice and full. As we exhale, we start from top to bottom, so we do the reverse. We feel the chest start to draw in. We feel the ribs and the lungs start to draw in. And then we feel the lower lungs and the stomach start to draw in. So you can feel that belly button start to draw towards the spine. So that was one full, complete breath. So again, as you inhale from bottom to top, feel the stomach, feel the ribs, and then top of the chest. As we exhale from top to bottom. We don't want to stress ourselves by thinking we have to get as much air as possible into this area, right? You want to just feel full to whatever that means for you today, okay? Without causing too much stress to the body. So just continuing from bottom to top, and then from top to bottom. making sure as we inhale fully that the neck, the shoulders, the face, on that inhale, they don't come tense. We don't bring the shoulders to the ears, right? We're not like straining ourselves. We're nice and relaxed. So yeah, next time you're doing a breathing technique, try this. Breathing is our primordial language. So a lot of things, humans are the best storytellers, right? On a day-to-day basis, we create so much stories. And sometimes we aren't necessarily direct, so we don't go straight to the source necessarily and find out the facts. Instead, we'll just sit there and create story that could be completely bullshit to what is actually happening in truth. So that said, right, we create stories, we create all this stuff in this head that doesn't need to go on necessarily. That said, story helped us expand and get the knowledge we have to this point. So story to some degree is good, right? But that said, so we create all this story in our head that isn't necessarily wanted or is not necessarily true. And then also too, we have all these emotions that we cling on to. So we have all these attachments. So by going back to that breath, it just helps us find that purest state without all those stories, without all those feelings. So next time you're in work, something stresses you out, or you have a big task at hand, right? Maybe you're going for, like I always bring this back to jiu-jitsu, so maybe you're going for a tournament, you're there, you have some butterflies, you have some jitters, using this breath to help center you, help bring you back to that nice, truest form without that stress, without those jitters, helps purify you, helps clarify your mind, makes you present for the task at hand. Also too, in jiu-jitsu class, right? This doesn't get talked about a lot or enough, but there's so much trauma. There's this thing called ego if people don't know about it, and I can be as much as a friend or as much as a safe training partner I am to you. If I don't have that ego in check, then underlying in the surface, there's this fight or flight thing, or I have to be better than you, or I have to tap you out. So sometimes that can take away from your role. It can really create nervous tension. And then also too, with jiu-jitsu, you see a lot of people with those white patches. I forget, I'll find out the name of that thing, but yeah, they lose circulation to the lower and their extremities, right? The hands, the feet. So tapping into this breath, getting rid of your anxiety or helping deal with that presence really will help work with whatever you need it to work with. So whenever in doubt, just breathe, but breathe correctly. Thank you. Namaste.